What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily horoscope for Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. Brian here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you, as always, for joining me today. Well, we're going to have that moon in Aries. It's going to square Pluto. It's going to sextile Mercury. It's going to sextile the North Node in Gemini. So I think we're definitely going to have some emotional power again today to push forward with certain things in our individual lives. Let's take a look at the chart. Today, that moon, nice sextiles. But, we are going to deal with Pluto in the evening with a square. And I think that as we get through the day, we're kind of like understanding our emotions a little bit better, understanding these new pivot points of where we want to go and what we want to create. And that's good. I think we're getting insight into the future, insight into really the areas of our environment that make the most sense. Instead of just focusing on so many different things, I think it's kind of coming back to what's close, to what feels right, to what, drives us as individuals. And I think that can be very helpful. When it comes to the evening as it squares Pluto, I think we're really going into a deeper place of trying to make sense of what we've gone through, and that sun's going to finish up in Capricorn. It's going to come into 0 degrees of Aquarius, and it's going to start getting ready for that first quarter square tomorrow, which tomorrow is a huge day. The inauguration, of course, and just a wild astrology going on above us. So we'll see if as above, so below plays an interesting part in what's going on tomorrow. Today, again, we're kind of in shaken up territory when it comes to what's going on outside of us, but I think emotionally, if we can narrow it down to what we as individuals really want to push forward with, there's good drive, there's good energy to do so. And I think if we look deeper into our goals, deeper into the aspects of areas of life that we do want to transform, we can push through and make them happen. We got to somehow empower ourselves to not look outside for something else to show us the empowerment, but to do it from within ourselves, and to have our own back in that sense, and to have the back of the collective and the people that want to, be on that journey, on that wavelength, if you will, with all this Aquarian energy. There's a lot of detachment that I think is important right now. And the more that we can detach with the sun in Aquarius, the better, because detachment helps you innovate and it helps you find your individuality. And by being an individual in the collective, like that's what it's all about. Like there's the collective, there's the individual. You need to individuate. Look at things from different perspectives. It's all about what we can kind of invent in our lives and create. And sometimes we just have to detach from what the rest of the world's doing, detach from what society says needs to take place, so that we can come into those goals, so that we can empower ourselves to understand where we want to innovate and how we want to move forward. Mercury's getting ready to trine over to that North Node, which is the dispositor of Gemini, where the North Node is. So I think we're getting pretty clear understandings of different aspects that we need to pivot to, different aspects that we need to disconnect from in life to have a better and more empowering life as individuals. I think that's playing a big part. And, last night we came off the square to Venus. So that was hard too. And I think that in a sense we're still kind of working past that, and it could feel like hard to nurture ourselves with the way society is and the way the values of the world are looking right now. It can feel like we have to just take part in everything that's going on. And that's the thing with Aquarius, is we don't have to. So if you're trying to do things that don't feel aligned with your soul, this moon square Pluto tonight is going to show you that path. And it might feel like something's transforming or something big has to change, and maybe something big does have to change so that you fully understand your environment and where you want to go on your divine path better from a more emotionally empowered place. That moon's going to come over Aries too. So I think the more we can kind of embrace that energy of really showing us where our true passion lies, and not being just, put into a place of feeling like because maybe the world is in this disharmonious place that we have to be. I think we can emotionally find harmony in our own lives as individuals and really push forward from that place. And there's beauty there. Ceres on Neptune is kind of an interesting thing, because Ceres is how we nurture ourselves. I think we need to nurture ourselves through our spirituality, through connecting to source, connecting to spirit. And the more that we're in that space, I think that with Neptune and Ceres squaring these nodes, we're going to see our path more clearly, even though we're in a time where it can seem so uncertain of where the path is going. There's so many different things and timelines and aspects that can take place. How can we disconnect from all of those timelines, tap into source, tap into our own individual lives, and individuate on our own path instead of just going along with what everybody else is doing? Do what aligns with you. Do what feels comfortable with you, and do what, opens your world up to innovate and to create. And I think there's a lot of rebellion energy in the chart right now with all the Aquarius, with Mars and Uranus. Like, that is radical rebellion. And this is the day before the inauguration, and it's going to be exact during Wednesday's inauguration with a first quarter square of the moon and sun. It's just looking like crazy things are about to pop off. And I mean, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll just go about as normal, and maybe that will be the crazy thing, is that everybody's expecting something crazy to happen and maybe nothing crazy happens. I mean, that's where we're at, is like so many different things can pop off. Why attach yourself to those beliefs so firm and so fixed, with Jupiter square Uranus square Mars and Saturn in the mix too? If I can show Saturn here. And with the sun approaching Saturn, maybe we just need to be responsible for our own individuality, for our own values, for what makes us feel free, for what makes us feel like we can create the physical world that we want, and stop just letting other narratives take us away from our own individual values and individual truth. And I think that, in a sense, maybe that's where today's heading, and tapping into spirit and really nurturing ourselves through our connection to our spiritual practices, to our own individual spirituality, that we can move past any old stories, move into new, exciting, innovative, stimulating places in our own world. Now, I do want to show you guys, because I think it's fascinating with where things are at today and tomorrow with these degrees, and I pulled up some Sabian symbols, so I will pull those up right now. If you're familiar with Sabian symbols or not, you can check them out. You can Google them and check them out in your own chart and see what they have to say. They're very fascinating. So this is for 0 Aquarius, which is where Jupiter and Saturn met, and it's where the sun's at today and tomorrow. Well, half of tomorrow and half of today, technically, but this is 0 Aquarius. An old adobe mission in California. This symbol shows a safe and comfortable place to live, work, pray, and practice our spiritual lives. The old adobe missions were built with a great deal of effort, sacrifice, commitment, and sense of community, with one eye on the path and the other on a very real everyday needs of the people it serves. Sometimes we assume our beliefs are right and that others need to be shown the truth. Efforts should be turned to creating infrastructures to pursue these beliefs. Relating is not about control, but acceptance and reverence of each person's divinity. There should be no pretensions, but a forging of links to new worlds. Withdrawing, spiritual retreat, natural surroundings, creating civilizations out of natural elements, finding places to work with spirit, sanctuaries and learning, houses, centers. The caution is dogmaticism, pushing one's belief and ideals. How ironic that Jupiter and Saturn met. And that's what the Sabian symbol to be cautioned about, is pushing one's belief. And in this case, it's a belief that isn't even of your own. It's a government forced belief that's going on right now. Having all the answers. Oh yeah, they have it all figured out. They're going to change the world. Somebody is, whatever side. Yeah, caution of that. Moving in, taking over, monuments to the past, cults, indoctrination, chiefs, Indians. Pretty wild, right? And that's the next 20-year cycle. Jupiter and Saturn fell on this Sabian symbol. So I think it's interesting. And I think that it's interesting too that I've been channeling that through the astrology, is like beliefs right now are just the craziest thing that are going to be shaken. And that's what we need to be cautious of. So I think that's very interesting. The other one too is for tomorrow, 5 degrees of Aquarius will be the midpoint of Jupiter and Saturn. So we have and this is where we're getting the Uranus and Mars squares also. So I think that this 5-degree Aquarius is very important. A masked figure performs ritualistic acts in a mystery play. This symbol shows being theatrical, conveying a story, putting on a show, getting messages across to others. Mystery plays portrayed archetypal stories from the Bible, often performed in Latin. Performers travel the countryside, entertaining and teaching with drama as well as humor. Sometimes the mystery play can show that things are not quite as they seem. Mysteries can play a big part here. Is someone wearing a mask? You may find that you are not shown the true face of people or situations. Look to see who the performers are. Are you a part of the play or in the audience? Perhaps you need to be cautious in what you reveal. Rituals, shamanism, archetypes of personality, masks that veil, mystery, drama, banditry, smoke screens, doing the technical but not the emotional, comedy and acting. Wow. It's just, these are wild, right? And when you kind of look, are we a part of just some smoke screen? Is the mask, like I mentioned yesterday, is the camouflage going to be lifted in some way, shape, or form? The caution: deceptive, neurotic performances, unwilling to admit changing times, not knowing who the players are or what the plot is. We have no idea, right? Cautious revealing tricks and ploys. It's very fascinating. So I think we have to look at this show that we're watching as a show. We're watching a play. And that's how you can disconnect. And that's how you can stay in your own sovereignty without getting just wrecked by what? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on. There's sides, there's beliefs, everything's rampant. What's really going on? I don't think anybody knows, and it's a big mystery play. Fascinating. The next one that I find fascinating that I wanted to pull up is Taurus 6 degrees, because Mars and Uranus are there. Taurus 6, which is 7. They go a degree above, but it is Taurus 6. So if you look these up on a different site, add a degree to maybe your own chart. Unless you go to sabiansymbols.com, then they do it for you. All right. The woman of Samaria comes to draw water from Jacob's well. This symbol shows the depth of human emotions, along with the notion of giving and sharing. The breaking down of barriers and cultural issues that divide people is the issue here. The woman of Samaria was taken by surprise that Jesus would speak to her, as she was said to be from the wrong tribe. This speaks of accepting others for who they are. Accepting others for who they are. Seems like a lot of the Charlico talk I've been channeling. Regardless of social structures and limitations, someone may be in need of help. Draw on your inner resources, take time out to assist and reach out to others, dipping into family ancestry, past lives, going below the surface. Water and its blessings, finding renewed self-respect, digging deep to find what unites, not divides. Wow. These Sabian symbols are a trip for what we're going through right now. They're spot on. It's blowing my mind. The caution: allowing social prejudice to rule decisions and behaviors, feeling left out, unable to assimilate or contribute, shallow prejudice. Water disputes, social conditioning. Social conditioning. It's just wild. It's crazy how synchronistic it was to find those, and looking at the astrology and looking at where these major transits and these big major squares antecedent fixed signs. Dealing with beliefs, dealing with our values, society. It's wild, and just feeling like we're part of some weird play that we don't know the plot of, we don't know the main characters of. We're just seeing the illusion of what they want us to see. And are we going to let that shake our cage? Are we going to let that rattle us to the bone? No. We're going to be sovereign. We're going to push forward. We're going to do the things in our own life that make the most sense, and we're going to bring that love. At least that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to tell you guys what to do, but that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm channeling. So I find that stuff very interesting. I wanted to share it with you because I was kind of called to look that up today, and it blew my mind. Let's see what the tarot is for the day. The 8 of Pentacles, upright. I think we need to master our own reality. We need to master what we're trying to build, what we're trying to create. Have that drive to go build what stimulates us. Have that drive to be in a world that empowers us and doesn't take our craft away, that doesn't force us into a weird place emotionally so that we can't keep building and growing the aspects of life that we've been working on, that we want to accomplish. So I think today's to kind of like go back to what you want to work on in life. Maybe don't get so lost in what the world's doing, but bring it back to what you want to master, what you want to fully manifest. And I bet if you do that and you put your energy and drive and passion there, that you see all of a sudden your manifestations can come true. And that there aren't all these blocks up. There's only blocks up if you're taking on all the energy of the world and you're not letting in your own abundance. Because it doesn't look like abundance. That's part of that play. It's part of the mystery that we're seeing right now. I love you guys very much. I hope you have a great day. I look forward to catching you very soon. I dropped a tarot weekly under this video yesterday, so if you want to get a glimpse at that, that's going to be in the member area of the site when that drops. If it comes to manifestation this week, I don't know. We'll see. I have like one loose end that's taking its time, and it's a holiday week, so, and it's through banks, so of course to be expected, I suppose. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, weeklies are up. I got those out a little late. I was so busy this weekend. Man, was I busy. I don't know if you guys noticed in the daily video yesterday, but I was like half asleep at the end. I was so tired. So I'm back. I'm online. I'm dropping a bunch of content, and I think we need to go after our craft, go after what drives us, go after what we can build in our own lives. Don't get lost in the story and the play, because that's exactly what's going on. Is there's this camouflage of what things are supposed to look like right now. They're not going to look that way, and you don't want to get suckered into those beliefs that it's going to look that way and having things all figured out. Nobody has anything figured out except your own life. You can have your own life figured out and you can build very strongly from that, but the world, yeah, it's going through big changes and nobody has any idea where it's going. So don't get lost in that mystery play. Love you all very much. I'll catch you next time. Peace.